Hello and welcome to the Creaky Culis. I'm a Monk, and today we are in Empire of Sin. Yes, that's right, we are back in Chicago and we are continuing our Let's Play series. This is, of course, our Impossible Let's Play series. We have a number of rules, and if you don't know by now, then maybe you'll never know. We are not allowed to use our boss. He is stuck behind a desk. We are not allowed to use healing items in combat, and more importantly, we are not allowed to use anything other than a melee weapon. So far, we have had a hell of a lot of deaths, but I feel like in the last couple of episodes, we're finally starting to get somewhere. We are definitely expanding our territory. We have now ourselves taken out 2 of the bosses. We have a third, maybe even a 4th lined up as well, that being Goldie and of course Daniel McGee Jackson. We are definitely getting there. The series is taking longer than I expected. We are playing on boss difficulty, and we are only playing on 7 neighborhoods. The other bosses have actually done a pretty good job at killing each other, going at war, and sorting those kind of things out. However, it's taken us longer, a lot longer actually, to be able to go head to head with these bosses. I've had to go out and get a hell of a lot of notoriety. We've had to acquire the better gangsters in the game, although we have used quite a few low tier gangsters. If you've been following this playthrough, you'll know exactly why that has been an issue and a problem for us. We have had a hell of a lot of deaths, more deaths in this playthrough than we have had in any playthrough on the channel. Now, I haven't been keeping count. I don't know how many playthroughs we've done on this channel, but I can tell you this: we've done a fair few. So for this playthrough to be beating our death count of all the other ones is kind of impressive on its own. I did actually have a compliment in the last video that I done, or in the last episode. Praggers from Praggers Gaming said that I make it look easy. Now, I don't know if it's because I just get lucky. I don't know if it's because I've got a hell of a lot of game time in this, but I can assure you all that it is not easy. Every single battle that I do, even battling thugs, sometimes seems really bloody hard, and I wonder if I'm gonna lose a gangster almost every single fight that I enter. Now, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I love playing my games. I like getting the mechanics down. The fact that we have managed to come up with a set of rules that has made the game so bloody hard that I'm questioning whether I can even finish this challenge is kind of cool, because if I can't finish, it will be the first challenge run we have ever done that I have failed. But if I can finish, I feel like we have finally found the ultimate Nuzlocke. Now, we started the Nuzlocke challenge quite a while ago. If you can think of a harder set of rules that is actually physically possible to complete the game in, let me know. Now, we've done the Lone Wolf on the channel. In fact, I believe we've done that twice on the channel now. So Lone Wolf is 100% possible, and certainly not the hardest way to complete the game in. However, this set of rules without the boss, doing it without guns, doing it without healing items, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge, and I wonder if we managed to get through yet another episode without any deaths. That would be kind of cool. I've recently been watching Broadwalk Empire. For anyone that doesn't know, that is a gangster show, a mafia type of show based in Atlantic City. So I'm kind of really feeling the whole mafia vibe at the moment, and it really makes me appreciate Empire Sin. And I wish I wish that one day this game would receive some love in the future and actually get more DLCs, get a little bit of care, maybe even just a second game, Empire Sin 2. You know, I think it's Brenda Romero. She was the one that actually, you know, created this game. This was her baby. It wasn't John Romero's baby. It was Brenda Romero's baby. And I feel like it's such a unique game. There really isn't too many other turn-based style gangster games. Now, I'm not saying this is the only one. There are others, but it's certainly, you know, a niche corner of the market. So it was nice that we got one. I love turn-based games. Anyone that's been following the channel knows that I love turn-based games. We've covered a hell of a lot of them here, and I love me some gangster games. Way back when, I used to play a game called Godfather 5 Families. That was like a PC type of game. And I loved it. I really got a massive feel for gangster games from that. And of course, you know, playing Mafia 1, 2, and 3. Those reviews for all those games will be releasing on the channel pretty soon. And of course, playing Godfather 1 and 2 as well. And shout out to anyone that can remember Mafia. Not Mafia, Scarface. Scarface is kind of like a GTA type of open world a gangster game. That was such a good game. I really would love to see that remastered because that was kind of cool. So yeah, gangster games are a fan favorite, that's for sure. And you know what? In the course of this playthrough, I've decided that I like Bull Rush. Now, I believe I said that in the last episode, and I have been putting off using it oh so much. I've used it a few times, and I never really got the results that I wanted. But as you just saw then, Dottie can use it bloody well. And I don't know if it's because she's a higher tier gangster, and therefore she's hitting harder, she's hitting more consistently, and of course she's getting that multiple health buff from that too. But yeah, she makes the move, the skill look incredibly good. I never used to like it, I do now. Bruno, of course, is a step down in the gangster pecking order, so he doesn't have that extra weapon proficiency that Dottie does, but I believe I'm going to start using it on the pair of them. We'll see how things go. I'm hopefully going to find us a couple of decent battles within this episode. We do need to be taking over a few of the thug rackets, I believe, just filling in the color. However, I also am not 100% sure we're going to be able to. If you remember in the last episode, we did actually find a depot. It was mission locked, which is a real shame because I believe it means we're not going to be able to completely take over this neighborhood because we're not going to be able to get that precinct. Without, of course, removing our boss. We did also kill the guards outside that, so I could have swift it for good regardless. But yeah, something to figure or something to keep in mind whenever you do these challenge runs is that you're not going to be able to have access to the majority of all of the missions in the game because they do require your boss to do them. That does also mean you're not going to be able to attend any sit downs. If you go to war, for instance, you're not going to be able to create some kind of peace offer. It's going to be up to the other faction whether there is peace or not, because you know your boss has to attend those meetings. He has to be the one to give those orders. Even if you have an underboss, unfortunately they can't attend a sit down. Now, I remember actually raising that point with the devs way back when this game was in development and being actively fixed and patched and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I guess not enough people agreed with me, so that was never changed. I really wish the underboss had that ability to attend those sit downs, so that way when you chose not to use the boss, God forbid, you could actually, you know, play the rest of the game. Crow's feet have come in absolute clutch with throughout this playthrough. Maybe not so useful in this battle, but in general they have been incredibly useful, especially when it comes to those depots, especially when it comes to us. In fact, I don't even think I would have been able to do either of the last two safe houses if it wasn't for having a fixer and having crow's feet. So for anyone out there that doesn't currently have the Maxim Zalnik DLC, I would highly recommend it. It's very, very powerful, even if you don't like Maxim Zalnik himself, even if you don't want that extra boss. The loan sharks, that is the unique building that brings in, are probably the best single way of getting money. They offer so much money. Having one loan shark in every single neighborhood is, in every single precinct, is highly worth it. But also having access to those fixers, those gangsters, those brand new gangsters that we get within the Black Book. They are so powerful, so strong. Not only can they repair relationships, so for instance, you always wanted two gangsters that just simply don't get along, and they're able to repair that relationship, enable you to have those two gangsters in the same crew for the first time. Their abilities are really strong, really strong. Crow's Feet, for instance, is, in my opinion, one of the best abilities in the game. Or at least when you need to crowd control. You know, the challenge run I'm doing right now, I need to crowd control. It may not be so necessary in any other playthrough because the boss is so overpowered. The weapons in the game are extremely overpowered. I feel like the only way to really balance it, if you're going to use a boss, is to only have, you know, 3 extra gangsters, for instance. It does help limit the overwhelming power that you and your party have. Even on boss difficulty, the game is extremely easy. Of course, that could just be me. And all the other players out there that have 50 to 100 plus hours in this game. I believe, embarrassingly, I've got to be over 350 hours now. Well over. That's a big battle. That's not a little one. That's a big battle. So I need to work on getting Goldie out of this neighborhood. Now, in previous attempts at, you know, taking on a boss's safe house, because she will have a safe house within this neighborhood, I have just run in. I haven't bothered taking out the rackets. I am going to be taking out the rackets this time round. And we have had quite a few defeats, quite a few big losses. I guess not defeats, but quite a few big losses anyway. And I certainly don't want to have many more of these gangsters taken out. At the end of the day, I'm going to run out of gangsters if I keep going through them as quick as I have. So as much as I want to make it entertaining for anyone watching, I also want to make sure that I can actually finish the playthrough. No, I was kind of hoping I could throw the crow's feet at the doorway, so that way if anyone runs in, they're going to get instantly pinned, or, you know, they're going to have their movement stopped at least. But 1, I can't make it through. 2, even if I did make it through, I don't think that trap would necessarily work. I'd have to really push all my people up to that far end wall up there, which would just take a lot of damn time. They do have an awful lot of troops in here, though, considering this is just a regular racket. I think the later we get into this game, the harder these rackets are going to get, because they're able to constantly level them up, level up the security. We're going to have not only more guards in the rackets, but they're going to be a higher leveled guard as well. And it kind of makes, as time goes on, if no one's caught on yet, the safe houses actually end up being easier than a lot of the rackets, especially the large rackets. The large rackets can be quite terrifying. You can get a serious amount of gangsters in there. Sometimes you get very little cover, and us being melee people, it's not really gonna work too well for us. Which is why sometimes I have opted to just rush in to a depot, to a safe house without taking on the rackets, because sometimes the rackets can just be more hassle than they're worth. And of course, if I get a good spin, and I get a favorable safe house layout, then it can start being a little bit more controllable for me. I can control corridors, or, you know, I can see which way everyone's rushing and kind of go the other way to snip off one or two of the other guards. See, that will work. There's a few guards out there. I managed to throw the crow's feet kind of amongst them, so they're almost guaranteed to run into it. And it's not really bothering the rest of my gangsters. I don't need to worry about trying to make them run into them. Grove is one of the gangsters I'm actually surprised is still alive. He's still rocking a sledgehammer, of course. I believe his and Bruno's have now been upgraded. Bruno has, of course, the unique sledgehammer, and Grover has a purple instead of a blue, I believe. Dealing just a little bit more damage, and I think a little bit more of a guaranteed knockback. Dottie, of course, has the perk where the further she moves, the more damage she actually does with a melee weapon, which is very nice. It's a fantastic perk you can get in weapon proficiency. I'm still gutted that Chan died. Chan is, of course, the top level fixer that DLC and this game offer. And unfortunately, he died earlier on in the playthrough. I think he was one of the first gangsters to die, actually. Real shame, great fixer. Kind of wish I still had him. And I even remember he wasn't the first, but he was one of the first. The first was a tier 1 gangster. She died unexpectedly, and because she was the first one to die, I got her back. The game triggered where, you know, you get like a callback from the grave. You can pay to get that gangster back to revive them. And I was so gutted that it happened to be her, because if you decline it, I believe it doesn't come back. You know, that offer, it does pop up once every single game. But yeah, the very first gangster as well. I wish it was kind of randomized. It's a really interesting, you know, forgiveness system. But I do wish it was a randomized event where it doesn't necessarily trigger on the first gangster that dies. Maybe it's the third, maybe it's the fifth, maybe it's the seventh, or in our case, the 17th. But yeah, it's always the first, unfortunately. Diana's a good gangster. Do like her. Okay, so we ransacked a racket, and of course we got to do the very, very standard by now, but the very, very standard of healing. We've got to heal all of our gangsters before we go into another combat. Last thing that we want to do is go into combat injured already or missing health, because, well, I've already said one of our rules is we're not allowed to use health items while in combat. I had to pop that in because the while in combat health items, because melee is so powerful. One of the reasons why melee is so powerful is because you can actually heal your gangsters through melee just by killing other guards. If you have the correct weapon proficiency, now of course admittedly at the beginning of the game that's hard to get, but if you do have it, you will heal your gangsters just through killing people. That's bloody awesome. Not only is that bloody awesome, but it's overpowered as crap. It's just, when you're very first starting out this game, it's a hard go. This challenge run, all the challenge runs effectively that I do are so hard at the beginning of the game. The more you play, the easier it gets because you have so many overpowered systems. Now, we are just reworking Bruno right now. Want to rework him before he goes in. We have the option to really do Bull Rush or Bullet Shield. And we have gone for Bull Rush. Just seeing just how many kills this guy actually needs for the next weapon proficiency. But as you can see, I used Bullet Shield before changing, and now I have changed to the Bull Rush. The Bullet Shield is still working, which is cool. It's another little tweak and a lovely little exploit, I guess, on the video that I just posted about curb crawling, about being able to use your abilities, you know, before battle and stuff like that. Well, and now it turns out you can actually respec your characters, effectively having access to the extra abilities. I kind of like it. It's naughty, but you know, gaming is all about understanding mechanics and trying to use them to your advantage as much as possible.
Consider it done.
Good old swing.
Done.
Now they have got quite a few turns now. It is definitely, we are outnumbered, so there's a few of them that have to, you know, run around doing whatever it is that they are going to do.
They ain't got no chance.
Hopefully our gangsters don't take too much damage. Now, a load of them have gone into Overwatch. Overwatch is a pain in the butt. Or it could be for, you know, one gangster that runs into all of it. Luckily, Grover doesn't sustain too much damage at all there.
I'm on it.
Grover's turn again now.
I'm on it.
What can we do? We take out one. Hack and slash is a move that I just do not use. Let me know down in the comments if it is something anyone actually has much luck using, or if you have to go out of your way to use it. I never really find Diana in the right position where it's really going to be beneficial to use it. There we go. Nice little Bull Rush. A nice little Bull Rush. We have one guy hiding in the corner of the shop. Now, that's kind of funny. What kind of gangster is he? You know, his place is getting raided and he's like, I need to get him that corner, mate. They ain't going to find me. Considering I think they still outnumber us. Or it's pretty damn close. Although the AI really isn't that bright in this game, I always said there needed to be an extra kind of difficulty. It never happened, unfortunately, but it would have been nice to have seen an upgraded difficulty at some stage.
Not my first tussle.
kind of damage can we do? Well, we killed him, so that's enough.
All right.
88 damage with that sledgehammer.
Done.
It's not a ton, but it's enough. It will work.
Kill this asshole. Get help! Shit!
Back to Grover, but unfortunately he's just in the wrong place. He's unable to help. Doesn't have the legs for it, I guess.
This is excellent.
I figured we might as well get an execution. It's a passive health buff, so, you know, why not?
I knew it. Shit!
Tiny bit of health left. Now, who can get to him first? Now, it should be Grover's turn, actually, because I don't think Bruno can do it.
Understood. Oh yeah.
There we go, that's there done. We actually got a few different weapons from that, which is kind of cool, because those weapons, of course, we can go into the black market and sell them and get ourselves some much needed cash. We're doing a little bit better money-wise right now. Of course, we have been upgrading a few rackets here and there, and our income is looking a lot better. Of course, we do own a hell of a lot more land, while effectively having less gangsters. There we go. So all of this we should be able to sell. We don't use any weapons for a start. Don't need the tonics. Now, I'm not going to sell all of the meds because, God forbid, Diana dies. I'm going to need to be able to heal my crew. So building up a reserve for my crew is a really smart idea. We've gone through a lot of gangsters, and unfortunately, a lot of those have been medics. We went through, I think, almost every single lower level medic in a game. I think one or two of them actually went off to one or two of the other bosses as well. But as you can see, look at all of those crosses. It's so many. We have had so many deaths. It's silly. But we only have 3 more days until our boss, Cristiano, is back. It would be bloody nice to have him back, I can tell you. Apparently we don't have an underboss or an advisor yet. That actually surprises me a little bit. Now, when it comes to an underboss, if you have Dottie, I would strongly recommend you get her, because she does actually have a slight caveat that if you apply anyone else as boss, you know, once she's already in your squad, there's a chance that she will just straight up leave. So making her the underboss is a good idea. It's not a bad idea. The underboss, the more leadership you have, the better. Someone like Williams would be the perfect underboss. I believe they have the highest leadership in the game. Bruno doesn't have too bad either. But yeah, Dottie is your gal. Well, she is definitely my gal when it comes to this playthrough. But yeah, we only have a couple more days till Cristiano is back. I'm looking forward to him being back. He's some serious muscle. He may not have the biggest health pool, but his throwing dagger, throwing hatchet are so bloody useful. Really useful to us. Wants another truce. Set in a truce. I can't attend the sit down, obviously, but it will mean that he'll stop agging on my territory for a couple of days at least. Hey, and Cristiano has recovered from his critical injury, which means that last little fight outside that safe house, I don't have to do just yet, because you know what? I want Cristiano. This guy is a beast, and he will be so bloody helpful when it comes to that next battle. But guys, I'm going to leave it right here. It is what it is. In the next episode, it does look like we're going to be hitting another safe house. Now, what happens in that? Who knows? Will we have enough firepower? Again, I don't know. But join me in the next episode to find out. Until next time, I've been a monk, we've been Clueless, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.